Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another episode of Nufftingz Speaks with your host, Nufftingz. So, we're going to backtrack a little bit and we're going to talk about another Pokemon Go video. So, what happened was I received a message, right? Well, I didn't receive it. It was a Campfire Message that someone sent to me and said, "Hey, man, look at this." So, I'm not going to, say what the name of the person, but I'm going to put on the screen right now. And this is what it says, and you can read it with me. Mississauga community needs an ambassador badly. I also suggest that during the application vetting process of becoming one, that you have to commit to do your job regularly and for a good period of time so that the community is not left without one, trying to organize raids on their own. Okay. Now let's talk about that for a second. Like, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because, come on, you know, we all know what happened, but it seems like people are forgetting and not seeing what's going on. Now, this is not a hit piece on this dude, or female, whatever they are. Um, it's more like, okay, why are you all complaining now? Now, the reason why I'm saying it like that, right? It sounds a little bit like, I'm being rude about it, but here's the problem. When I was hosting, I hosted every event, right? There wasn't an event that I missed during my time hosting the events, right? But you're talking like this person is not the first person to bring up, well, we need a community ambassador. You had one, and that ambassador didn't do the job properly, and everybody was complaining. And then I tried to take over, and then we had more complaining, and then both the ambassador and me are out of it now. Now, look, I don't know if the ambassador could come back. I don't think they would, but could that person come back and do it? Cool. But when I was doing it, I literally was hosting every event. You know, it's not my fault that people that were in the group were trying to destroy it. Now, me and my little brother even talked about it, and he goes, one of the biggest issues he saw that I had was that I spoke about what was going on, right? So I was speaking on Nufftingz Speaks and all that. And he goes, you know what? It's not that it was wrong. It's just, you're going up against, you know, the you're going up against, the norm, right? So from what I gathered from what he was saying, it was like, look, if you want to be the ambassador, you have to be a good little schoolboy and do what they say, right? So you have to follow every rule, you have to do whatever. And you can't sit there and disrespect what they're doing. Cause he's like, you were talking bad about the ambassador thing. And I'm like, yeah, of course I was, because it's a stupid program. It's dumb. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's too much work for no payout. You know, um, it was a silly thing to even bother getting into. Now, I'll tell you right now, if I can go back and never be a part of Pokemon Go, I would. Pokemon Go sucks. I think the whole thing is dumb. I think the community is stupid. I think, like, this community outreach that they're doing, where they want people to um control communities and all that and give them a couple little trinkets to give away is silly, because a lot of these ambassadors are spending their own money to keep the community happy, which is not right, you know. And also, like, the rules, come on, like this whole terms of service rules, you have people cheating and doing all types of stuff. And this is the thing. People be like, you don't have any proof. Bro, there's literally discords with a million spoofers in there that never get banned. So what are we even talking about here? Like, they talk about terms of service. Like, okay, one of the rules, and I've talked about this before, but we're going to re-talk about this again. One of the rules is when you take community photos, a person cannot be holding two phones. Like, that's literally one of the rules. In the terms of service, a person cannot be holding two phones. That's a dumb rule. Like, So you can't hold two phones, right? But you have people that are using bots to control the gyms, right? So so what is it? You have these terms of service. A person can't have multiple accounts on their phone. A person can't have more than one phone when they're playing. Yet, if you go to these events, or if you even watch the videos online and you see a lot of these YouTubers, they're holding two phones. So I don't understand, like, okay, so that's a rule. Fine, whatever. But you're enforcing these rules. You enforce this bullying rule, and then you ban people for bullying. You terminate people for bullying, and you don't have any proof. There is no proof of bullying, right? You have people that hold the gym meta, right? They don't let anybody get into the gym. You have people that will have bots knock people out of gyms all times of night. Doesn't matter. It could be 3 a.m, and for some reason you just can't knock these gyms out, right? And people are hoarding the 50 coins. People are doing all this stuff. People are cheating in the PvP matches. People are harassing people in these events. Like at these community events, you'll have people harassing the females. You have people harassing me, for instance, too. Even now, I haven't played since December. It's June now. I still get harassed by Pokemon Go players. You know what I'm saying? Like, bruh, like you never checked anything. I get comments on my videos where they'll say, "Hey, um, this person was what got you in trouble." Okay. And they use 6 alternate accounts and they reported you. And I'm like, look, man, from what I've heard, it was more than like 4 people that got together, in a little group hug session and decided to get me out. So back to this whole campfire message, right? Yes, my friend, Mississauga should have an ambassador. But honestly, Mississauga was known, and the people in Mississauga said they don't need one, right? You have guys in this, and I'm saying you have people in the community that believe that the ambassador was a narcissistic thing, right? So if you're an ambassador, you're a narcissist and you want to control people. Look, man, when I was hosting the events, and same thing with the other ambassador, when we were hosting events, we didn't want to tell you where to go. We weren't trying to control anything. But they want you to be a community leader. The problem is, if the community doesn't want a leader, what are you going to do? Right? It's like, what can you do? Like, I had one person say to me, "Hey, your videos were getting to my workplace. I need you to run your videos by me before you post them." Bro, why? "Oh, because I need to make sure you don't say nothing to get me in trouble." First of all, homeboy, I never said anything to get you in trouble. I talked about what we were doing in the community events, what was going on, the complaints that were being said. Never called out your name. Never said it was you. Never said, "Yo, your game name," nothing. So you wanting to have control of me like that, and I'm supposed to be like, "Okay, sir." No, we're not doing that. I'm not a punk. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a punk. I'm not gonna sit there and be like, "Okay, no, no, don't do." Like, no, like, whatever, dude. You had other guys that were, wanting to fight. Like, we're talking about, we had so many altercations that it made no sense. It was like, you had kids that wanted to play, and they were practically getting bullied out of playing because these grown people don't understand it. This is a kids game. It's Pokemon. It's a kids game. Like, why are you getting mad at the children for playing? Oh, they're sending, like, we had one dude sending screenshots of people when they were hoarding the gyms, right? or when someone new went into the gym, they didn't know who they were, they would start sending screenshots to people and be like, yo, who is this? Who is this? Yo, come knock this out. We had one dude that would shoot flares in Campfire when people started attacking the gym. Like, bro, the community would do well with an ambassador. It's a big community. It's easy, accessible for the gyms. But if you have people that don't know how to grow up, what do you expect? Like, you expect it to work at this point? Look, man, the other thing too is, like, we have to remember also that this game is made for kids, but kids aren't playing it. And I mean, this is the same thing I've been talking about for months when it comes to video games in general. I have kids that are teenagers. They don't want to play any of the games that I'm playing. Like 007 First Light. I think that game's phenomenal. My daughter won't play it. My son plays it for 30 minutes and he moves on to something else. You know, I want to play a new Fable game. You think my kids are, oh yeah, let's play Fable. No. You know, like, they have their own set of games, right? They're not playing the same things as we are. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of us hold on to this nostalgia feel with everything, like, you know, Pokemon. Kids aren't really playing Pokemon. Yes, okay, people are like, my kids play. Okay, yeah, your kids play, but overall, majority of these kids are not playing Pokemon, right? And I guarantee a lot of them only play because their parents are there and they want to spend time with their parents. You know what I'm saying? You could do that with anything else, but if the parents are playing Pokemon Go and the kids follow them, they're going to spend time with their parents, right? Okay, cool. My point is this, okay? This is a community of older people, right? And when older people can't behave, you have a problem, right? And if you have older people that can't behave and the other older people just allow it and don't, you know, speak up, you have a bigger problem, because you have people that want to play but don't want to get involved in the politics of the stuff, right? They don't want to play the game and have politics. But the problem is the politics in Mississauga were there. You had too many egos, too many people that, you know, wanted to play it a certain way, didn't want newcomers to come in. And you're talking about a game where newcomers are supposed to be welcomed. So if you have a group of dudes, or actually it was never the women, it was always a group of dudes that didn't want people coming in. Like, they literally were, they were gatekeeping. Like, do you know how many times I've been to Square One since this happened? Maybe 10 times. Rex, I don't need to go anymore. But when I go, people will be like, oh yeah, I remember when you were hosting stuff. And we'll be talking about it, and they'll be like, you know, there's too much gatekeeping in the community. And that's the issue. You have people that don't want change. They didn't want production. They didn't want things to improve. You know what I'm saying? They thought that if new people came in, it was going to be a problem for them, because they want to keep it to their little group. But it's like, the whole problem is they could have stayed in their group, but they could have just left from this. But they wanted to destroy the community to get their way. Now, look what's been going on. Nobody's hosting. There's like, I think someone tried to host. The community is dead. People don't talk in the campfire. It's totally non-existent. Nothing is going on. People are going other places to do events. GoFest is happening. I haven't heard one thing about GoFest. They're probably all going to go to Brampton, if anything. But, you know, you have people that just destroyed it from within. And of course, Niantic, being the silly company that they are, didn't even do any background research to see what was going on. They didn't inform me. And like, if Niantic wanted to report me, okay, sorry, let me change that. If there was a report on me, Niantic should have hollered at me and sent me an email, said, hey man, we're getting reports of this, and this. What's going on? And I would have explained to them, like, this is what's going on. Blah, 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 blah. Right? They could have then said, you know what? We don't believe you. Go F yourself. We're terminating you. But there was no response. 6 months later, they responded to me and said the exact same thing. Well, we got multiple reports of bullying, but there's no proof. Like someone just said, hey man, you were picking on me, and that's cool, right? You don't think to check. You didn't look at the background and say, okay, okay, let me, not background. Here's what I'm saying, okay? Because I'm getting a little bit annoyed now bringing this up again because people are just pressing me, right? Okay. Niantic should have, but see, they're the big multi-million dollar company, the multi-billion dollar company. They don't care, right? If you're getting reports that somebody is bullying, right? You could easily look at the accounts, right? You could have IP checked. You could have done many things. You could have seen if these might be alts, right? You could have then emailed me and said, hey, look, we need to talk to you. We're getting reports that you are bullying. Can you explain to us what's going on? And I would have said, oh, you know what? Yeah, we would have had a conversation. I would have explained to them what's going on. I would have said that I've talked about this in these videos, and I will say, if you want to listen to them, go ahead. But if you don't want to, I will give you a quick rundown of what's been going on, right? They also could have went into Campfire and checked to see what I was actually doing. They could have checked to see if this guy was hosting events. They could have looked and seen all the events that I hosted. They could have seen the amount of people that were checking in. They could have checked community photos, this. They could have checked all that, right? But they didn't do that, right? Now, the reason why I'm saying all this is because if you were part of the community, you would have seen that there was a whole bunch of community photos. There was giveaways. There was a lot of check-ins. There was people in the chats that were talking positive about me and what we were doing, right? Like, but you didn't check any of that. So you didn't care enough to say, well, damn, even if they even check now and see that, yo, the community is dead. Like, but my whole thing is, look, okay, they're not going to do all that. They're a big company and this doesn't help their bottom dollar, right? Okay, whatever. But my whole thing is they were quick to axe me, right? And I don't mean ask. I mean, they axed me. They cut me down and they never did they never checked. Like they didn't investigate like they're supposed to, right? They just said, well, cut this guy. Because look, if I was bullying, why are people taking pictures? Why is it that we're in a big group photo with like 300 people and I'm bullying people? Like, wouldn't you say, okay, wouldn't you look at that and say, wait, hold on. We're getting reports this guy is bullying people. Who's he bullying? Now, I mean, yes, the pictures could be lying, but do you really believe that everybody would like, not everybody, you think people would have been there in a photo with me holding banners if I was bullying them? Like, let's be real here. We're not talking about high school kids here. We're talking about grown folks. You know what I'm saying? Like, they would have said, yo, go F yourself. You know what I'm saying? But that wasn't, like, nobody was saying anything except for this little small group, right? Now, what they could have done, too, is they could have jumped in the Campfire, right? See, this is what I'm saying. Like, my brain goes far. They could have went into Campfire and jumped in themselves and asked the community, we've heard that Nufftingz is a bad community leader and he's been bullying. Is this true or not? And then have people vote. And people be like, oh, damn, okay, well, no, he never bullied me. No, he's never bullied me. And then you have the one or two like, yeah, he bullied me. Yeah, but the joke is the ones that I was apparently bullying weren't even in the Campfire. They were just people that were hanging out at the mall, hanging out at Celebration Square, doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were just there. They were just there taking up air. That's all they were doing. They weren't part of nothing. And nobody took over after me. So these people, look at how it sounds. These dudes got rid of me to just leave it vacant. It wasn't like one of them said, yo, you know what, bro? Yo, I'm gonna do better than Nufftingz. Yo, I'm gonna roll up. I'm gonna do so much, man. I'm gonna make them forget him. Y'all didn't do nothing after I left. And the joke is, I hear people be calling me out. Like, yo, man, yo, Nufftingz needs to come out, bro. I want to talk to him. Bro, I'm not going out to talk to nobody. Like, get out of here with that, man. Like, grow up. See what I'm talking about? Grown folks, man. Y'all trying to be gangsters. Like, stop it. You know what I'm saying? You cannot be no gangster growing up in your 10-bedroom house with 6 cars in the driveway. Get out of here, bro. What gangster? Nah, man, you need to stop that, bro. You ain't no gangster. You didn't grow up a hard life, bro. Born with a silver spoon in your mouth and want to play thug. What are you, Drake? Stop it, man. I don't understand what I don't understand with people too. That whole thing I just said. I've seen people, right, grow up, their dad is a dentist, and you know dentists make a lot of money. Have 6 cars in the driveway, 10 bedrooms, 6 washrooms, right? You know, big house, right? And they have a son selling drugs. Why are you selling drugs? Yo, I'm trying to be gangster. Look, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, if I grew up poor, which I did, and I had the option to not grow up poor, I would have took the not growing up poor. And at that point, I wouldn't be out there slanging rock. For what? Dude, I'm rich. Dude, I'd be out there, you know, going to lunch every, like, dude, like, why would, if you are lucky enough to grow up privileged, why do you want to get yourself thrown in jail? What's the point? You see, this is the stupidity I see out here. Like, y'all don't have no brains if you think, like, do you think being a gangster or reporting people or picking fights on the road makes you a thug? Look, man, we're talking about people that never got in trouble once in their life. You know, silver spoon in their mouth, and you want to fight people on the road? You know, you want to like fight over Pokemon Go? Like, bruh, come on, man, stop it. Like, it's the weirdest thing in the world. It's like, dude, come on. And I'll be honest with you, I said I didn't want to, I wish I didn't play Pokemon Go, but you know, just the experience that I got from it, dude, you can't get that from anywhere else. This has been a journey. And I'm telling you, man, it makes me laugh. You know, I remember people tried to bully my own kids, and I was like, bruh, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we're not playing that. You know, I don't get it. Like, grown folks trying to bully children in a kid's game. It's like, dude, do you need a hug? Like, no, don't do that. And then you respond to that, and that's considered bullying. Yet, you know, I'm not going to sit here and report you. And that's the other issue too. See, some of us, we don't report people for stuff like that. We deal with it ourselves, and that's the end of it. I'm not reporting you, getting you kicked out of the game for what? What's the point? You just learn your lesson and shut up after. Like, if you were bullying a kid and someone says, hey man, stop that. You know, they could easily just report you, but what's the point? They tell you, look, just stop, and you stop. If you don't, then the problem escalates. But if not, and you actually listen and stop, it's the end of it. What's the point of reporting you? It's just, to me, grow up. You know, it's over now. But anyways, the point of this whole video is, to me, rant a little bit, was Mississauga needs to change. The people need to change. And if it's been this long and nothing has changed, don't expect it to change. It's a dead city when it comes to Pokemon Go, and maybe it's for the best. Maybe Mississauga is just not, and I mean Celebration, not Meadowville or anywhere. Like, if City Celebration Square, City Hall can't have a good, devoted group of people that want it to succeed, then just leave it. There's no need for it. You don't need to have an ambassador. Just let everybody play what they want to play, have their little groups or little entourages, and be done with it. There's no point to comment that we need to do this and do that. We did all that. You're looking at us like the littlest thing. Like, you need to look at the whole problem. Also, if you want the ambassador thing, if you want someone to take over the ambassador, why don't you do it, person that said that little statement? Just take it yourself and see how it is, because I was hosting events, so was the other ambassador, even if they weren't hosting that many. I was hosting events, we were hosting events, and there was always back and forth fighting. That's a lot of responsibility for people that don't respect what you're doing and don't want things to work. If people are just out there to sabotage what you're doing, what's the point of doing it? Anyways, that's my video. Like and subscribe if you want. I'll see you in the next one.
Another late night chasing down the light for the grind that Nufftingz has to fight against the voices in the static and the noise, finding my own